Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to create a role for your remote learning or otherwise using Google Forms. There's a couple of ways that you can go into starting a new Google form. You can click on your waffle here and go into Forms. You can access it through your Google Drive by clicking on the New button, but my favorite one is to use the Forms.new shortcut. And this works with slides.new, sheets.new, forms.new. There's heaps of different ones that it works for. So when you get into a new untitled form, this is what you're going to see. So the title that I'm going to give it is going to be 3 for a role. I'm actually going to put in the date because the way that I've been doing it is to create a new one for each different day. So let's say this is Monday the 5th of the first question here is going to be a drop-down menu with all the kids' names. So all they need to do is pick their name from a list of drop-down options. If I click here, now that I have a title here, if I click here, it's automatically going to pick up the title that I had used. So I've already got a list here of fake students. So I'm just going to Control C to copy and then head over into my untitled form. So in this untitled question here, I'm going to write, what is your name? So the reason why I've chosen to not list this as a short answer question and instead I'm going to list it as a drop down is because I'm pretty particular about how kids format the writing of their name. So I'm just going to do it for them and they have to just simply choose it from a drop down menu. The great thing about Google Forms is that once I've copied that information from that document is that I can just click Control V and it's going to put all of them in order in a new option. Now normally I would put this in alphabetical order, so I would have already ordered that document alphabetically so that it will reflect that here and the kids will be able to find their names a bit easier. But for the sake of this, I haven't actually done that. The second thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to make this a required question because obviously I need them to know, I need to know who it is. I'm going to add in a second question because I want to know, how are you feeling today? Just to do a bit of a well-being check-in for the kids. And I am going to leave this as a multiple choice option. So we're going to be using emojis and I'm going to give them a couple of options. So fantastic, let's say great, good, we'll say okay, and I'm struggling a bit today. Okay, and we're going to use some emojis. So the first thing, I have the Joy Pixels keyboard extension up here, and so it has all of the emojis that I would find on my phone. So what I've done, I've recently searched for these ones already, so I'm just going to go ahead and copy them all, and that way I don't have to keep opening the Joy Pixels keyboard, and I'm going to cut and paste them into the beginning. Okay, so now I have all of those emojis. The kids will be able to recognize that even if they're not the most proficient readers, they will be able to work out how they're feeling based on those emojis there. I'm also going to make that a required question. If you wanted to do a further follow-up question, you could type something like, is there anything that you wanted to tell me today? And in case you didn't notice, that automatically changed it to a paragraph question because Google has obviously sensed that it's an open question that the kids will be able to write a longer response for. I'm not going to put that as a required question because the kids might not want to do, they might not have anything in that particular day that they wanted to tell you. You can go ahead and change the appearance and the theme of this one. So if you wanted to choose a different header, if you wanted to upload your own photo, you could very easily create one and do that, but I could do another tutorial for that. But let's just say I'm going to click on just kids and whoops. And maybe for my students, that's probably a little bit young. So we'll just stick with the work and school and we'll go with some jelly beans here. And as you can see, that's now picked up the colors from that header and it's adjusted everything slightly. If you didn't want to use the yellow, you could choose any of these. I'm definitely a pink girl, so we could do that. Or you could even add a custom color and go ahead and pick something that you liked and add that. Okay, you can change the background color and you can change the font style. At the moment, you've only got the 4 options. I'm always fond of a bit of playful, and that has changed the look of your questions. Okay, if you were to preview this, this is what the kids will see. They would just select, okay, so Nate Wilson is my name. I'm feeling fantastic today. Is there anything you wanted to tell me? Today is my birthday. And submit. Now, when you are the teacher, you will be able to see it in responses. Okay, you can look at it as a question or as an individual. My personal favorite is to look at it in a spreadsheet, okay, because I like to do a bit of conditional formatting from there. So I'm going to create a new spreadsheet and I'm just going to label it 3-4A role, and it's automatically going to link to a brand new spreadsheet. Okay, so I'm just going to fill this in a few times so that we have a little bit more data. Okay, so you can now see that I've done it a few times, imagining that these were the students that were filling it in. It automatically comes up with the timestamp, so that's why I haven't included any time or date questions, which is a really handy feature. You can always tell if students have then gone in on a previous day and filled it in for a different for another day. It has their name, it has how they're feeling today, and anything else that they wanted you to know. So if I wanted to sort this alphabetically, the way I'm going to do that is highlight all of the information in this spreadsheet. I'm going to do that by clicking on the box here. That will highlight all the rows and all the columns. Then I'm going to click on data, sort the range. At the moment, I could choose any of these columns, but let's just say I didn't know which column was which. If I click on data has a header row, it's going to tell us what the name of those columns are. So I'm going to sort this by what is your name, and I'm going to do it alphabetically from A to Z. And click sort, and then this would be in roll order. So looking at this, I can now see how my students are feeling, and I can touch base with anyone that I think needs a little bit of help. So I might touch base by giving these kids a phone call. So Jessie and Mia and Rebecca aren't doing very well. I can see that Mia's struggling because her cat ran away last night, and I can see that Rebecca wants a phone call to help with the maths work from Friday. So I can use this as a really easy way to check in and see how those kids are doing. If I wanted to make another form in the same manner so that I can add it to that spreadsheet, I'm actually going to go in here and I'm going to make a copy. Okay, and I'm going to rename this Tuesday, 6th of October. It's going to open up a copy of the same document with a different name up here. So what I would then suggest doing would be to change this date here, and all of your questions will remain the same. In the responses tab, in order to link it to the same spreadsheet, you're going to click on Create Spreadsheet. But instead of creating a new spreadsheet, you're going to select an existing spreadsheet. And instead of, if you look here, it says Create, whereas if I highlight this one, it says Select. It's going to now come up with a pop-up menu of all my recent spreadsheets that I've used. I'm going to collate it with 34A. Double clicking on that, it collates it into the same spreadsheet. And now I can see this is form responses 2. So I would change the date to 1st of October. And I've just realised this was supposed to be 5th of October and this one is 6th of October. And that will collate the data in here for this new spreadsheet that we have made. I hope that's helpful. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Thanks. Bye.